Good afternoon. Welcome. We are so excited to see all of you here. I am Kimberly Schmidt. I am the president of the Hamilton Rotary Club, and welcome to this year's State of the Schools. We are co-hosting it with the Chamber of Commerce and the Kiwanis Club of Hamilton, Ohio, and I am so happy to see all of you here. I get to recognize and introduce past President Lisa Giuliano of the Hamilton Rotary Club to start us off with our prayer and pledge.
Please be reverent as you choose. Dear Lord, we are grateful to be gathered today to hear from our educational leaders and celebrate the impact made on students in our community. We ask your blessing on all educators, support staff members, and administrators as they focus daily on helping students succeed on their educational journey. We express our appreciation for their dedicated service and acknowledge that our community is strengthened by the influence of our educational organizations. Lord, we also ask blessings on our food and upon those who have prepared and served it to us today. Amen. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lisa. I now have the honor of introducing Dan Bates, president of the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce and fellow Rotarian. Dan.
Good afternoon, Rotarian and Kiwanian. So proud to be in both organizations. Welcome to the State of the Schools. And you know, this is always a great event and always very exciting, but today, you better have your seatbelts on because there's some announcements coming that is just going to blow you away. So this is going to be a particularly exciting luncheon today. So I'm sure that you're going to leave here impressed and amazed and really proud to be part of the Hamilton community. First of all, before I recognize our sustaining sponsors, we do have some elected officials in the office, in the room. I know that Representative Carruthers is somewhere back there. So if all, there she's waving. If all the elected officials, whether school board or whatever, there's quite a few of you here, and rather go through the whole list, if you would just stand to be recognized for a moment, I'd appreciate it. So elected officials, please stand. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to recognize our sustaining sponsors, and they are BusinessBreakthroughAdvisors.com, Butler Tech, Champion Health, the City of Hamilton, First Financial Bank, Kettering Health Hamilton, Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital, Stiefel, the Todd Group, and U.S. Bank. Thank you. I also want to especially thank our sponsor for today's event, which is Butler Tech, and I want to recognize our long-term partnership with TV Hamilton, and thank you for being here today. Now let's get started with the program. First up, I'm honored to introduce Brian Pendergast, the president of Baden High School.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the Rotary Club, Lindenwold Kiwanis, and the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to speak here today. It's always an honor to be part of this program and hear all the great things going on in the educational world. Students in Butler County have a lot of options and opportunities available to them, and each one of them is excellent. As the only Catholic high school in Butler County, we play an important role in that educational landscape. Today I'm going to talk about a couple different things, give you a general overview of where we are, our campus expansion, and a few highlights of some of our students' achievements. It's our mission at Baden High School to inspire young men and women to achieve their personal best, live their faith, and lead the future. And we take that mission to heart in every aspect of our school. Every student has God-given gifts and talents, and each student will excel in different areas. We have students who need academic support. We have students who take academic coursework that I don't think any of us in this room probably would have taken when we were in high school. The number of CCP courses that our students take continues to increase, preparing them for their next steps in college. Regardless of a student's academic ability or their future careers, we have a wide variety of classes that will challenge them and to achieve their personal best. Serving God, serving others is a motto at Badin High School. Faith formation is the number one priority for us and the reason we exist as a school. We live out our motto through our religion classes, our retreat program, our Christian service program, and our mission trips. Each summer, we offer 5 mission trips, 4 of those here domestically, and 1 international trip that our students have the opportunity to participate in. Each faith formation opportunity provides students and teachers a way to use their God-given talents to make a positive difference in our world and our community. The amount and the type of service our students participate in is a testament to their commitment to our mission. On March 7th, we will welcome parents and community members to the Stang Symposium, where senior students will present their service projects to our guests. We're blessed to have terrific students, and we celebrate their successes not only at the Stang Symposium, but in many other areas. Tyler Abner and Rudy Joesting were named National Merit semifinalists, and Rudy scored a perfect 36 on his ACT. Pretty impressive. We had 10 students who were named AP Scholars with Distinction for their outstanding efforts on the AP testing process while they were at Badin. We had 12 artists recently present their work at the Middletown's Tomorrow's Artists Today competition. That competition encompasses 19 different schools with 132 different artists being represented. Emmy Demmel received first place in painting category. Elizabeth Carruthers received second place in the painting category and second place in drawing category. Paige Harris, Julia Kogan, and Karina Torrero all received honorable mentions in various categories. Paige, Julia, and Emmy were all recently accepted into the University of Cincinnati DAP program, which is a very prestigious program for them to get into, and we're extremely proud of them and all of our artists. For the second year in a row, one of our students is the Business Professionals of America District President. Shay Scarborough will lead that charge here in the district for our marketing program. And we've had 9 students participate in the CHIPS program, the citywide Hamilton internship program that we partner with the city of Hamilton with. They've interned at the planning department, the law department, at Tano's, at Miami Regionals, and many other businesses here in the area. It's a great opportunity for our students to get exposed to what their future could hold. Badin High School continues to grow. Our current freshman class has 190 students in it, and we just had our registration the other night, and we have 187 that will be joining us next year, which will put our total enrollment over to a little over, somewhere over 720 students. To put that in perspective, in 2010 and 2011 school year, we had 448 students. The last time we had over 720 students was in 2000-2001 school year, so our continued growth has been tremendous. And we believe that enrollment is due to the outstanding teachers that they work with and the faith development opportunities they receive at Badin. Students have the opportunity to receive a top-notch education with tremendous teachers who take our mission to heart and strive to help every student achieve their personal best. Due to our enrollment, our campus continues to grow. A couple years ago, in 2020, we opened up the Student Development Center, which was a much-needed addition to our building. Just this January, we opened up a new parking lot to the west of school. 346 spots over there, and we just recently signed our contract with Conger Construction to start for the process of building our future athletic complex. The Building the Brighter Badin campaign and program, the highlight or the biggest part of that project is the Lonnie Family Stadium at the Matandi Sportsplex, which will completely change our campus. will include a stadium, a practice field, locker rooms, and everything that goes with that. But the other parts of that program, the Building a Brighter Baden program, is a military and first responders memorial that we're building around the flagpole out front, and a grotto that will be part of our campus also. So we're excited about all those components. And we actually are just announced just the other day, finalized our ceremonial groundbreaking will take place on Tuesday, March 5th. So it's an exciting time at Baden High School to be able to break ground on the first ever on-campus athletic complex. I would like to thank the members of our school board, a couple of them are here today, for their tremendous guidance, support, and encouragement. Their vision and leadership have made a huge difference in our school and the future of Baden High School. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students, I want to thank all of you in this room for all the support and encouragement you provide, not just Baden, but all of our schools. Education truly is important, and we want to make sure that continues in all of our schools moving forward. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. Please know that you're always welcome to stop by Baden and see for yourself the Baden family in action. It's now my pleasure to introduce John Graft, Superintendent and CEO of Butler Tech.
So good afternoon, everybody. I like having Brian go first because he reminds me of a couple things I needed to write down to make sure I wanted to thank. I need to make sure I thank my board member that's here, Pastor Matthews. Thank you for being here. She represents Hamilton City Schools, but as well as Butler Tech being on the board. And if there's another board member that's on the Butler Tech board that's here that I haven't seen, I apologize in advance for not saying your name. Brian, I also, I happened to score 36 on my ACT. As well, when you take both attempts and you add them together. So I feel like I'm in pretty good company with them. I do want to say a thank you to the Rotary, the Kiwanis, and the Hamilton Chamber for giving us an opportunity to speak with you. I want to start with some data, and I really want you to focus in on the data and pay attention to the data, okay? So the first piece is that 87.2% of statistics are made up on the spot. And that one's not necessarily true, but the following data that I am going to share with you is as accurate as we can obtain. Our Butler Tech graduation rate is 98%. And so we're pretty proud of the fact that when our students arrive on our campuses or they're in our satellite programs working with our partner school districts, such as Hamilton City Schools, that the success rate is significant when they enter a career tech program. Our adult education completion rate's 91%. And compared to statewide 87% high school graduation rate, which we celebrate, but nationally that means that 1.5 million students are dropping out of high school each year in the United States. So we've still got work to do. We're proud of the 98%, but there's still a lot ahead of us. As well as in the community college realm, which has a 31% completion rate. And so I know we've got a lot of work to do. The word's out about Butler Tech and all the great things that are happening at Butler Tech, and I have to say thank you to our teaching staff, our administrators, who really make this possible. I have a whole lot of people in our organization telling me what to do and sometimes telling me where to go. But it is a culmination of a number of factors that we have a great Board of Education that gave us the latitude to really dream about what education could be like in the future. The reality of this is that we started this vision about what was called Panem Leap. And that word, Panem, is Latin for bridge. And we knew that we have such remarkable education institutions such as Miami University and Hamilton City Schools and Baden, all in this area. But we have a number of institutions that we need to connect, both economic development, along with the city of Hamilton, our education institutions and workforce, and our business partners. We need to bridge that gap that has been longstanding, those silos. And so we started endeavoring in that a number of years ago, which was a vision for what could be. And I'm sure some of you have seen some of the announcements recently in the past day. Couldn't be any better timing to be here on stage sharing some of that news. But I want to share with you a little bit about the backdrop of why this is important. The Office of Workforce Transformation says that 65% of the jobs in the future, secondary students, those jobs have not yet been created. And so the speed at which we need to move and adapt our curriculum and adapt what we do on a day-to-day basis in our education system is needs to be hyper-focused and needs to be faster than the speed of business. And I'm proud to share that we're working towards that collectively. We focused on 3 areas. One of them was advanced manufacturing, one of them was aviation, and healthcare. Those 3 areas are the strongest areas of growth in our region and throughout the United States. And we're really, really honored to be able to partner with Miami University at the Vora Technology Park in the future. This is, for me, I've lived my life in Butler County, and this is a significant transformation in the education industry. The fact that you'll have high school students working with adult education students, working with undergraduates, working with PhD students, all in the same space. And when I say the same space, we're not dividing up, this is Miami's portion, this is Butler Tech's portion. These are going to be labs that when you walk in, you will have high school students in with the undergrads, in with the grads, in with the PhDs, and along with our business partners. I'm just honored with the fact that we've had so much support with this. From the city of Hamilton, I know Mayor Moeller's here. I want to say thank you for the city's support on this effort. Also want to thank Miami University for engaging in this conversation and dreaming Dr. Crawford and Dr. Georgiou, who's here. None of this could be possible without that synergy that I think we've all decided we don't care who gets the credit. We know it's good for our community, and that's what we want to do. You know, we have 2 other campus expansions that we're doing. One's in Middletown for aviation. We're already having conversations with Miami about how we're going to partner there. We also have expansion at our bioscience campus when we're having conversations with Miami again about what's possible there. But this came about, and I have to give thanks to our Butler County commissioners who helped support these efforts. And I think it's absolutely worth a round of applause for them who supported us and Butler Tech for being able to dream what is possible when we have these synergistic connections with our education entities and our business partners. We've already signed 11 MOUs. I think we're maybe at 13 now. Is that, like I said, 87.2% of the data is made up on the spot. So what's the number, Marnie? 16. We're at 16 MOUs with businesses who have said, we're going to give our time, we're going to give our talent, we're going to give our treasure. And so I think it's really important to know that this is not just an education initiative. This is an education, a business, and an economic development initiative. So we're really, really proud of that. I know Representative Carruthers is in the audience and want to say thank you to you for all of your support along the way. They have been invaluable. The Ohio General Assembly it has allowed us to expand Career Tech with 2,800 applications ending at the end of this year for 1,200 spots on our campuses. We've got a lot of work to do to expand. We have to move faster because our kids deserve it. In Hamilton alone, we serve 1,404 Hamilton high school students in our satellite programs. We serve 243 on our campuses, totaling 1,647 students. We're expanding our welding lab to add another 75 students in welding. If you didn't know, welding is very, very popular. It is very popular. 265 applications for 75 spots. But again, I have to say thank you to the Ohio General Assembly for allowing us to have adult education classes that high school students can now access adult education classes just as much as our high school students are going to be accessing our college classes through Miami University through the College Credit Plus program. So it has definitely taken a community effort. We're going to have teaching experts in the field. We're going to have blended pathways. We're going to have a mix of students and cohorts. In fact, we've had high school students this past summer had an internship at Boeing. High school students. Now, you already know what my academic prowess was alone with my 36 on my ACT that I took twice. So nobody offered me an internship to Boeing, but I'm super proud of the work that all of our teaching staff and our students are doing. So why is this important? For hundreds of thousands of years, the maximum speed was measured by a horse. 1910 military aircraft, the top speed was 42 miles an hour. In 1960, it was 18,000 miles an hour. And in 2021, the Parker Space Probe was at 364,660 miles an hour. The speed of the world is growing. But our time is growing shorter and shorter. This thought that you can save time is just not true. We get 1,440 minutes in a day. We get 168 hours in a week. Our time is not saved. It is not stored. Saving time is fiction. I am on my 19,736th day on this earth. And yes, there's a calculator you can get on Google that will tell you how many days you've been alive. Now's the time to change the education system in the United States, and I am honored to be a part of that transformation with all of the partners that I've mentioned in this region. Lastly, I'll say we opened with a prayer. I'll end with Romans 12:2 that says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed with the renewal of your mind." That's the challenge we all have every single day. Thank you. It's my honor to introduce my friend and colleague, the Hamilton City Schools Superintendent, Mike Holbrook.
Well, this full house today certainly is indicative of the importance of education Hamilton and the community places, that in its culture. And before we begin, I would also like to thank our sponsors and hosts, and I would also like to have a special thanks to Ian McKenzie Thurley and the Fitton Center for hosting us here today. Thank you. Before I begin my formal remarks, I do want to recognize a few individuals in the audience today. I want to thank the Hamilton City Board of Education. Strong board leadership is a vital role in the success of our school district, and I'm blessed and honored to be supported by our school board. Our school board members are servant citizens, and unlike any board that I've worked on or worked with in education, this board forgoes any type of financial obligation to, perform their duties, and that is certainly certainly servant leadership at its finest. So I would like our 5 board members to please stand and be recognized. President Baker, Vice President Matthews, and board members Sprague, Davison, and Kopus. Thank you. To all district teachers and administrators, we do have some of them in the audience today. Working with such a talented group is a privilege of mine. All I've done is hired really good, smart people, a lot smarter than I am, because I probably didn't get the 36 on the ACT either. But they're here. Many of them, this is the one day of year that they actually get to eat lunch, because many of those days they're running around with kids or parents or trying to put out fires in their buildings. So if you are here from Hamilton City Schools, please stand and be recognized. And thank you for everything you do every day for the students and parents of our community. So let's talk a little bit about Hamilton City Schools. Back in 2019, when I took over this job, one of the first things that we did was develop a 5-year strategic plan. And that was a challenge. And the challenge was this, and Mr. Graff spoke to it earlier. Education is changing quicker than at any point in our history. And we had to blend things that we're doing now with new and innovative approaches for students. That was hard. We had to take down many belief systems that were antiquated and yet still keep some of those things that were going well. And those required difficult conversations and very difficult decisions on moving forward. That was 2019. Here we are in 2024. I guess the question is, how are we doing? The latest state report card came out last September. Hamilton City Schools, in comparison to the 20 similar districts in the state of Ohio, ranked number 1 in the state with performance on English and math achievement. We also were very competitive from a state report card standpoint with every other large district in Butler County for the first time and had the highest star rating in the history of Hamilton City Schools. So that deserves a huge round of applause. But it's bigger than that. And what are some other initiatives that were in that strategic plan? A big piece of it was partnerships. How have we partnered with the various entities in Hamilton? From our educational partners at Baden, Miami, and Butler Tech, to business partners in our community, and a really major partner, especially in a city school district, is the city of Hamilton. And I want to take a moment and thank 3 different people over the last 4 years that have been instrumental in building that relationship. I know Pat Moeller's here. I don't think that Joshua Smith, and I know Tom Vanderhorst is not here, as he's in Florida, is my understanding. But those 3 individuals have spent a lot of time with myself, our board, and other individuals of our district, and we have built a solid relationship because as Hamilton goes, so goes Hamilton City Schools, and there's no way of getting around that relationship. We are codependent on one another. And I will tell you the changes that I've seen in the last 10 or 15 years being a resident of Butler County for nearly 30 years, the changes we've seen in this city have also been changes that have helped transform our school district. And so I thank those 3 individuals as well as the city council and everybody else involved in that. But that's exciting to see. And you know what? We've just started. So thank you for those 3. That deserves a round of applause. The challenge moving forward is exactly what John was mentioning. And we talked about this morning. We had a superintendent meeting, and all the superintendents in Butler County get together. And one of the things that I mentioned is that this is my 33rd year, finishing my 33rd year in education. And I go back and I think about when I started in 1991. And I think about what a classroom looked like and what a classroom looks like today. In some cases, it's drastically different. I didn't have the liberty of sending out an email to all staff. I had to stuff 200 mailboxes every single day. So those things have changed, but what does it look like in our classrooms instructionally? I can tell you right now, even our high school students, when they were in 2nd and 3rd grade, AI wasn't around. Did we prepare students for AI? Can we prepare students for those things? The world of education and the world in general is moving so quick. And we have to, as educators, look at a way to transform what we are doing. We talk about a lot of challenges, there's a lot of pluses to that, but it has to be looking at things differently and thinking outside the box and taking that and preparing our students for the future. And so what that looks like 5 to 7 years from now should look a lot different than what we're even doing today. We can't stay stagnant. We have started that in Hamilton City Schools, but we cannot stop looking at the future, and we cannot stop thinking creatively. And I'm very blessed with a group of staff and very innovative individuals that push me. I'm 58 years old. You know, I still remember rotary phones and green shag carpet. And so with that, and my two sons push me. They're 30 and 29 years old. They push me. Our staff that grew up as digital natives push me. And quite frankly, I still don't completely understand AI and Chat GPT and all of these different things. I have to have someone sit down and explain that to me. But I'm also want to be a lifelong learner, and I want to understand those things. And so we have to continue pushing forward, because that is the future. And we are going to continue to be innovative in doing that. I want to thank Butler Tech. I want to thank John, Marnie Durham, William Sprankles, you're here today, and their entire staff, because they have changed the narrative on what career education is in this general area. Career education used to be something that you know, didn't have a great reputation. There's something called a Lexile score, and a Lexile score tells you how difficult something is to read. The #1 most difficult course in high school as far as difficulty with reading level is science. The second, career tech. Unbelievably, language arts is at the bottom, so don't ask me how that happened. My point being is that it is not a watered-down curriculum. It is a rigorous curriculum. It's a hands-on curriculum. It's a preparatory curriculum, not for a job, but for a career. And without their assistance, our career tech programming would not be where it is today. So thank you, Butler Tech. Thank you, John. When I took this job, one of the questions asked to me in I guess it was a quasi-interview, was, shouldn't every kid go to college? And I said, absolutely not. I said, our goal when they graduate from Hamilton High, and we hand them that diploma across the stage, should be one of 4 things. 4-year college, 2-year college, military service, prepared for the workforce. I want a kid to be prepared for all 4 of those things, but certainly have a student walk across the stage with options. One of those options that is becoming even more expansive is college. Right now in Hamilton, 15% of Hamilton, the city of Hamilton has a 4-year college degree. Some of that's due to access. Well, we're changing the narrative on that. You know, our Early College Academy is in its 2nd year. And a real quick background with the Early College Academy, it takes students at the end of their sophomore year. And starting their junior year, they're getting dual credit from Miami-Hamilton as well as Hamilton City Schools for high school courses and college courses. At the end of their senior year in high school, they're walking across the stage not only with a high school diploma, but with a 2-year associate's degree. That's access. That we have a lot of students that we just need to expose and give them access. And we're going to continue to work on that, and we're going to continue to expand those opportunities for students in collaboration with Miami as well as other local university partners. And I couldn't be more proud of the success we've made on that. Thank you. I always use this phrase with our administrative staff, and I do believe this. We can talk about curriculum and instruction, and we can talk about initiatives, and we can talk about planning, and all of that's extremely important. But you win with people. You're successful with people. And all of those initiatives and all of those, strategic plans are great, but they don't mean anything if you don't have the right individuals. We've been able to move the needle because we have tremendous leadership in our district. Our teachers work their tails off, and I've worked in 5 different districts over 33 years. I couldn't be more proud to be associated with our teaching staff, our support staff, and our administration in this district. They work hard, they have the best interests of kids at mind, and they're willing to be creative and innovative to problem solve. And really, any strategic plan you have isn't going to be worth its weight if you don't have people that have that mindset. We often talk about having a growth mindset, and we use that phrase all the time, and we usually apply it to a student grew. What about adults? What about their growth? What about the fact that, are we growing as an educational community? Are we growing as an individual? What does that look like? I think that when we talk about growth, we have to talk about everybody, not just students. And we've seen that in Hamilton. One of my biggest things is, are we using data to drive what we're doing? How do we know we're getting the results that we want to get if we don't have something measurable to use? And we have gotten so much better and very focused on those things, and we've seen the results of that. And that's a tough needle to thread because there's such a personal side with teaching and education as well that data can be very dry. It can be very, very absolute. And every student's different and every individual's different. So taking the data and molding that to a plan that meets that kid is extremely important. And we have been working towards that for the last 5 years. And it has been a part of our success. But we also have students that now actually understand that. And they hold themselves accountable. It's amazing. They'll hold themselves more accountable sometimes than the adults will in some of those cases. And it's just an introduction, and it's just a change in climate and approach. One of the last things I want to mention is our relationship with Baden High School in particular. The district worked extremely hard to bring this football game to the community last fall. And I've had people approach me, man, you need to win this game, whatever. It was so much bigger than winning and losing. It was galvanizing a community. At the pep rally we had at Markham the Saturday prior to the game, just the community spirit that was there, the galvanizing of that, the night of the game, seeing individuals in restaurants throughout this city, and yes, we hope to have better luck next year when we play again. But the whole experience, we were so concerned about how's this going to be received. It was a wonderful experience for this community. And I'm proud to say that we're not going to only play next year, we're going to play the next 2 years after that because it's such a good experience for this community, and it galvanized it. And the continued reaching out and working together to make this community better is something that I know that Brian and I have spoken about on a number of occasions, but that's just one example because that game was so much bigger than just having a football game. And I think that when that was over and people reflected on that, I think we realized that. Due to the collective efforts of our staff, our board, our business partners, Big Blue is definitely on the move. And I could not be prouder to be part of an organization that is innovative, and we're going to continue to push forward. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be the most popular person in every single decision we make, but I can tell you this, everything we do is for the benefit of our students and our families in this community. And I couldn't be more proud of where we stand today. And I look forward to what we're going to bring in the future, getting up here next year and talking about our successes from this year. So I want to thank you very much for giving me your time today. It's my pleasure to introduce, from Miami Hamilton, Andy Durajao.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by thanking the Kiwanis, the Hamilton Chamber, the City of Hamilton, the Rotary, and all of you all are here. We're really excited to be here. We're excited to be here today. So I also want to thank Superintendent Graft, Superintendent and CEO Graft. Me and John have hung out so much. I know his bio inside and out at this particular point. Superintendent Holbrook and President Pendergast. Pendergast. One of the things, when I was sitting over there and thinking, I was saying to myself, all of them have better titles than me. So we're going to work on that at Miami. And come back next year, I will have a better title. Before I get up here and talk with you all, one of the things that I do in my own personal life is every morning when I have to talk to groups of people, I come and tell my kids, I say, I'm going to have to talk to people. And so my oldest daughter, who's 10, she does her daddy imitation every morning. So she gets up, she says, blah, 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 access, blah, 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 student success, blah, 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 graduate and get a better job. And so while many of you will hear that and think my kids think I drone on, what they're actually saying is my message is getting across. And so we're excited about that because I hope that you all hear that as well as we think about it. And so, as you can imagine, when you go last among 4 great leaders, among 3 great organizations, they've taken all the good things to talk about, but I will talk about some of the things that I think that are happening here in our community that are going to continue to move us forward going forward in the future. So one of the things that's really important for us at Miami University Regionals, and I want to recognize our amazing staff who are here and our team. If you all could stand just so you can be recognized as well. We have a vision statement which says we are going to empower minds and strengthen communities. And so the idea behind that is that everything we do needs to be connected or engaged with our communities. Now, as many of you all know, you probably are in organizations, know individuals who have vision statements. And oftentimes they're just words on a piece of paper. But how often do you meet an individual or an organization where that vision statement is so intertwined in who they are that you feel the excitement, you feel the energy, you feel the love? And for me, I get to deal with that and feel that on a day-to-day basis. Our staff at Miami University is an amazing group of individuals. They are a very opinionated group of individuals. You should see some of the emails I get. But one of the things that's exciting about that is even behind those blunt statements and those poignant questions, the same question rings through, or the same theme rings through. How are we fulfilling our promise on how we are serving our students? And so I can deal with arguments, I can deal with disagreements, but at the end of the day, if we all have that common goal, how do we serve our students? How are we fulfilling that promise? We're in a good place. And so when I first got up here 2.5 years ago, I talked about what my promise was to the community, what our promise was, and how we were going to fill that promise. The first thing we looked at is the promise of access. How are we going to increase access and increase opportunity for students right here in this community so they can take advantage of the things that come from a college degree? Mike Holbrook talked about our early college academy. 2 years ago, we brought 23 students onto our regional campus to start taking college courses. A lot of these students were nervous. They didn't know if they'd be successful. They didn't know what to expect. Because again, these were students who were low-income students. These were first-generation students. These were those students that we said, you can't be successful in college isn't for you. In their first semester, these students outperformed our first-time, full-time freshmen, and they continue to thrive. And so from 23 the first year, we had 111 this fall. We opened our application just 1 week ago, and we already have 60 applications that have been started. And so what that tells me is we're doing the right thing. The students are seeing value in it. Families are seeing value in it, and the community is seeing value in it. Our Work Plus program, many of you all have heard about, where we partner with employers to cover the cost of their employees so they can get a college degree. Over the last 2 years, our Work Plus program has grown in the number of employers by over 200%. It's also grown by over 200% in the number of students participating in it. And what that tells me is we're doing the right thing. That tells me when we think about access, when we think about opening opportunities, individuals are listening, businesses are listening, and our community is listening as well. And so we're excited, and that's how we're fulfilling that promise of access. When we talk about the promise of student success or promise of retention, one of the big things we've been focused internally on our campus is how do we build a sense of belonging? How do we make sure that students know when they come to us, they can be successful when we want there? And this has been a labor of love of our faculty, of our staff, of our administrators, coming together and really thinking, what are those barriers once a student comes to us? What are those things that we're doing in our classroom? What are the things that might seem minor to us, but have the potential of saying to a student, you know what, you don't belong here. And so our group has done a phenomenal job, and the results speak for themselves. Over the last 2 years, we've seen an increase in our year-over-year retention of 3%, and we've seen an increase of 4% in our first-year retention, so students starting their first year and being back with us. And we're expecting those numbers to continue to grow. And so again, that's how we're fulfilling that promise of student success and retention. And then lastly, how do we fulfill the promise of engaging our community? And so how do we make sure that the community is saying this is what we need, this is what we're looking for, and we align our programs, our resources, and our efforts to align there. And so one of the things I think is pretty evident, you know, John mentioned it, we made the front page, so we're obviously doing something from a community standpoint. And we're really excited about that. But even beyond that, our Service Plus program, which we have through an AmeriCorps grant, has now having 39 different student change agents out in the community serving over 22 nonprofits. Those students thus far have logged over 6,700 hours of service for our nonprofits right here in the community. So when we think about the community engagement, it's bigger than just industry, it's bigger than just what things traditionally, it's the entire community, and we're so excited about that as well. So when we think about our commitment, our promise, what promises we've made to you all, the promise we made to the community, there's one promise that we haven't been able to fulfill. It's that idea of how do we give access to college for the individuals in our community who are most needing of it? How do we make sure that income is not a barrier? Because we know affordability is the biggest barrier to success for higher education. And so about a year ago, I had a chance to sit down with John Gaduli and representatives from the city to talk about how do we create a community, and to quote Neil Cohen, who I had lunch with just last week, how do we make Hamilton the education city? A city that if you want to go to college and you want to do it, there's no barrier to it. And so through the great generous donations of the Hamilton Community Foundation, through the continuous support of the city, we're able to do that today. So I want to announce to you our last promise, which is the Hamilton Promise. Now, any student that graduates from Hamilton High School, from Baden High School, or from Butler Tech that has demonstrated financial need, they will be able to attend the regional campus here in Miami Hamilton at zero cost. And one of the things you've heard from everyone who spoke before me, it was all about collaborations. It's about sitting down and saying, what's the issue we have and how do we collectively come together and solve that issue? So we are so excited about that. We are excited for what's going to come of that. We're excited because when you walk outside and you look outside in Hamilton, we're a thriving, growing community. And so initiatives like the Hamilton Promise will continue to make sure that we continue to be the thriving, growing community well into the future. So at this point, here's my job, and I'm going to try to stay on script. I need to ask John Gaduli and Mayor Moeller to come to the front with me so we can officially sign the Hamilton Promise and get moving for our students this fall. You're in the middle.
Leave the flag. Leave the flag. Face the radio.
Yep, I think we're good. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to the Kiwanis Club so they can close us out. Thank you all.
Just want to thank everyone for coming out today. It's great presentations by all our wonderful speakers. The Chamber has 2 events that they want everyone to get on their calendar. March 14th, there's a Mix It Up hosted by Spooky Nook. And then March 21st, there's the Champions of Diversity Red Carpet Luncheon. So get those on the calendar. Hope to see everyone out here. Have a wonderful day, everyone.